Saturdays used to destroy me. It's not because I'm lazy. I'm honestly a pretty disciplined person, and the majority of my week runs like clockwork. But Saturdays, I find myself waking up with no plans in sight, and by 2 p.m., I'm scrolling on the phone or taking a nap I didn't want to. And the worst part wasn't the wasted time. It was that feeling knowing that I'm better than this. It wasn't a willpower problem or a motivation problem. I realized it's a decision problem. And once I figured that out, everything changed. Most people think that discipline is some kind of personality trait, like you're born with it or you just don't have it. And the truth is, it's not really the case. Like, think about a day that you have all kinds of structure, like you have an itinerary for the day or a plan, or, like let's even take like the first half of your day when you go to work. Like, we know you got to wake up at a certain time, you got to clock in, clock out. You get a lot of things done, but then think about the days that you don't plan out. In my case, I'm talking about the Saturday. And you're left with having to make all of these decisions throughout the day. And decision fatigue is real, y'all. And that's what I came to see, was that a lot of disciplined people I met weren't necessarily grinding hard compared to me, or harder. What I'm finding was that they had made decisions ahead of time. So they weren't stuck in that constant, like, okay, what do I have to do next? They were just in straight up execution mode. And this was quite a paradigm shift when I realized this. After realizing this, I kind of contrasted my week. So my Monday through probably Friday is pretty dang structured. That's how I, generally, as I mentioned, like through the week, I'm a pretty disciplined person. So like on Mondays, every 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm off on that day. I know I'm going to have my planning session for the channel, like what I'm going to film for the week, what needs to get done. I also simultaneously start my laundry just as I begin that. And so right there, right off the bat, I'm getting myself on track. I know what I've got to execute through the week for my YouTube channel. I'm getting my clothes ready, and then know what I'm doing through the week. So then every night, I also kind of have this ritual. I know about 8:45 that I'm going to start winding down for the night, because I have to get up at 4:30 the next day when I go to work. So I take my shower, I set all my clothes out for the day, like what I'm going to wear to work. And on my days that I'm going to exercise, my thing is running. I set out my running clothes. So like on Wednesday, I know that when I get home from work, I have a run with my running group at 6 o'clock every Wednesday. So that decision's made. I go in, I get my run in. Every night, I have my clothes out for the next morning. So when I wake up in the morning, I'm not trying to think of what I'm going to wear for the day. The decision was made. And I'm in execution mode through the week. That's when I get most of my things accomplished. Then I looked at my Saturday, y'all. Like, I typically leave it open kind of as like an impromptu, or have to potentially spend time with my wife, but she's working on a master's program right now. So I leave it unstructured. So sometimes we're like, okay, cool, I'm gonna use that time to maintain the health of my marriage. Other times I'm left with, oh, there's this time she needs to invest in her goal, that she'd made her decision. I'm going to complete a master's program, get good grades. And this is where the doom scroll would come in, is I just hadn't made a decision. I had nothing planned. And when you have nothing planned out at all, your day falls apart. So what do we do about this? Now, I think our instinct is to plan out our entire Saturday, but that's not the point. Like, there is a day where we probably need some flexibility, so we aren't gonna plan it out perfectly. Like, my case in point is that I leave it kind of open up so I can spend time with my wife. But with her being a full-time student, as I mentioned, I need to leave it open a little bit. So since the point isn't to plan out our entire Saturday, I'm going to introduce you to something that I refer to as my decision menu. What I do is I break it down and I come up with some ideas ahead of time. It's like, well, if I only have 1 hour, I am going to do one of several things. Like it could be mowing my lawn, since my lawn's not that big, researching some video topics, something smaller like that that I could get done in an hour or less. Then I'd say, okay, if I have 3 hours, what are some things that I could do? And so I might up it with a little bit bigger task, like, hey, I'm gonna go for a shorter bike ride. I'm going to take on this other task instead. And then if it ends up being that I end up with the whole idea, I might choose to start attacking a bigger project that I have around my house that I'd normally reserve for a later date, or maybe do a combo of all of the smaller segments and bust these out. But the point being is that I have a fallback, so that paralysis that normally I resort to the death scroll or that unwanted nap, and I'm left with that feeling of knowing I'm better, I can eliminate it because I know what to act on and the decision is made in a way. And so that's what I would recommend doing. And I did that this Saturday. I thought about a few things that I could do. Sure enough, like earlier in the day, my wife and I, we had some plans. We got out of the house, spent some time together, but then I got home about 3 o'clock, and the next several hours, I was left with that blank space where I normally resort to the death scroll or the unwanted nap, or basically the waste of time. And so what I did was I knew that I wanted to get some work done on my channel and a few things around the house. And because I'd thought about these ahead of time, I was able to go right into execution mode. And at the end of the day, I was able to look back and I had accomplished some constructive things while I had that time free up. And I can tell you, I felt a lot better. And just this little decision tree that I'd come up with, or this little menu, it was great because I was able to act. I wasn't left with some undecisiveness and that analysis paralysis. Bringing it back in, you're not unmotivated, just undesigned. Those people that seem motivated, they've simply made more decisions ahead of time. So when that freed up time, they know how to execute. Now, I'm not saying to have a perfectly planned out, micromanaged out day. Just what I suggested, have a few ideas in mind that you can implement if a certain amount of time frees up, kind of like my Saturdays, because that design is going to be the difference. Now, if you've made it this far, it truly means a lot. Now, put it to good use, and I recommend you check out this video that YouTube has queued up for you to keep the momentum going. And with that, y'all, better every day.